Welcome back to Rei-Jin-G-Lu-P. Last time things got real, it looks like we're about to die, but before we die, we're going to get a little bit of a recap for what's been going on. This is the Yasumizu settlement, a special part of Fujiyoshi. It was situated right next to the Saranaga Rapids. Because I've kind of been thinking, I'm still not sure exactly where Yasumizu is. Is this like all the area we've been to, almost? Or, I think it is. Besides that, obviously we came from here, but people living here were... Oh, this is a complete recap, okay. Let's learn some names. Chiemi. Yasunaga. His family? Oh, that's the brother. Really? I would have expected he was brother of the little one. Kaori and Yashitsugo. Wow. I guess he obviously dyes his hair. He still doesn't look like that other guy, though. This is Mochi. Haru. Her granddad, Kanzo. Tai. Who, okay, so I noticed something, too. So they called her, like, Tai-Ba. The little girl also said Ba. Now, that could be the girl... I guess that is probably the girl that showed up. I was just thinking, like, is there a chance that she's transforming into the girl, but there is a little girl that showed up suddenly the day before we did, so that's probably who the girl was. Wait, is she? So Choro-chan also has that hair color, right? Takumi. Nasuki? Kyo Nasuki? Finally, the old man cried wolf. There were 11 people I met, and Chiemi said that there were 2 more left. Huh. That could only mean the 2 that I met by the pine were the ones. The little girl? I don't know if she counts. I don't know if either of those count. I don't think that's right. I think you're wrong there. I think the little girl's a visitor, and the other person is like some spiritual person. The little girl, she was probably a child that strayed into Saranaga yesterday morning, yeah. And there was a fantastical looking white-haired woman clad in strange clothing. She's probably the one I seen in the morning. She obviously was. The fact that I seen her twice made it likely that she was indeed real, but with how mysterious this place was, I could not rule out the possibility that she was an illusion. I would not say illusion, maybe a spirit. An illusion? I mean, what? According to Chiemi, the little girl was being looked after by someone in the village, so I could only assume that the white-haired woman was the one. If I counted the little girl, I don't think she counts. That would mean the Yasumizu had 13 inhabitants. She's not an inhabitant! She just showed up yesterday! Are you an inhabitant? Come on! Then there were the 2 journalists, Hizako, and Yudai. Yudai is his name? Told he was gonna die first. Add me to that, and you have a total of 3 outsiders. What? How is the girl not an outsider? The little girl just showed up yesterday, and she hasn't even talked. But I put that aside for now. Anyway, time for an assessment. Yesterday morning, a little girl strayed into Saranaga. To make it worse, no one, not even herself, knew anything about her. She instantly got branded as an ill omen. And classified as a inhabitant, evidently. The next day, Chiemi, who was in Saranaga for some reason, found me there. They recognized me as a proper lost person, as opposed to that stupid child. But since I came through Saranaga, I was also branded as an ill omen. From what Kyo Nasaki said it was safe to assume that it used to be customary to throw people like us into the Saranaga. Yes, that's... I did not know if you picked up on that, but okay, I agree. I don't think that's just used to, though. And then there was the mist. The girl said something mysterious. Prepare for the feast when the evening mists arrive. I can only assume it was related to some superstitions. I would think so. After all, the mist came from the Saranaga itself. More Higurashi vibes. It and the river seemed to be central to the local customs and ideas. With that in mind, how was it dangerous? What was going to happen? Yomi Bito, as in people from Yomi, the ancient land of the dead. Dead people come back through Saranaga and they were corrupted. Well, that gave me some room for some wild ideas. Was there some sort of pathogen in Saranaga that rose up with the mist? Did it turn people into zombies? Was I about to be part of a Japanese Resident Evil? I was gonna say... Wait, that's already Japanese. What if you had a 10% chance of being affected by the mist, but a 100% chance of being infected by another person? That would explain why everyone had to isolate themselves like this. If I became a zombie, I probably wouldn't have the mind to unlock the door. So basically by locking myself in here, I was quarantining myself. Oh. Oh. You're probably right here. So that's the whole werewolf thing, huh? The only thing I don't... I guess the key here is I just don't think he's playing by the same... Or necessarily is playing by the same rules as the other villagers. Because like, so let's say the werewolves are like randomly picked, as in like a game of werewolf. And... The thing that makes it weird, though, is Tutorial-chan telling us you're probably dead already, but run. You know, he's probably useless. So that doesn't seem random. But maybe it's because they don't know if we're going to be counted as a villager for the rules and get to play under the normal rules, but... I didn't put all that much thought into that. But that seemed like a good story. Yeah, I had not thought about it at all. It seems like a really good theory. Sure, stuff like the boulders and the wolves didn't fit anywhere into my idea. It's not zombies, it's wolves, buddy. That's all you need to change. But it was still interesting. Then again, I knew this was Hicksville and all. But would a superstition that science could explain so easily really survive in the modern world? It seems so weird. Don't make a sound? What are you gonna do? To be frank, the reason why I spent so much time on these delusions was because I was scared of things I don't know or understand. In the past, people used to attribute things like natural phenomenon and diseases to gods, devils, yokai, and then do nothing but fear them. They were scared of these manifestations of monsters and whatnot, but on the other hand, it was better than not seeing or knowing what they really were. The fact that you could die to things you couldn't see or understand made life really unreasonable and unfair. That was why it was very logical to give things names and mental images in order to recognize and memorize them. My fear of things I didn't know was the same, except I wasn't satisfied with just labels or hypotheses. Hypothesize? Hypothesis? Alright. And I needed to reach the truth. That aside, what was I feeling right now? What I was feeling right now wasn't a fear of the unknown. It's a realistic, practical fear of something that can endanger my life, so therefore I should freaking do what she said. Wow, you're saying that a lot. That meant that outside lurked something dangerous that could hear sounds. Perhaps it was the so-called dead that rose up from the river. Or maybe, assuming I was right with my Saranaga sickness theory, it was people who came out and beat the shit out of all the diseased who didn't follow the rules. Wow. The wolf is coming. Maybe the wolf was the title given to the killer. Wow. No! You moron! You shouldn't need future knowledge to know that this is not a good idea. Well, I assume this is going to be one of the first keys we unlocked. I don't know if it's in order, but this could be the very first. That was some timing. Just the excuse I was looking for to be a dumbass. Right when I was about to form a new hypothesis, the proof connecting it all suddenly came to me, and it was right outside. It got really dark, there were no lights anywhere, the darkness was fear. Unperceived equals unknown equals dangerous equals scary. Leaving this place was dangerous. Dangerous equals scary equals scary equals scary equals scary. Scary things were scary, no matter how much logic you applied. But I couldn't disregard my desire to get to know the fear and conquer it. I opened the door like a dumbass and stepped outside, or stopped in place. Night was in absolute darkness. No matter how dark or cloudy it was, the sky always gave us some bit of light to us. However, I came to understand that it could be hard to see even though there was light. Everything I saw was covered by dense mist. Combined with the pale moonlight, it made the area seem milky. It made it hard to get around. Regardless, I couldn't ignore the scream. There was something beyond this veil. I kept moving forward. Unless my ears were deceiving me, the scream belonged to a woman and had come from the right. That was not her. I couldn't let myself think that. Or rather, I didn't want to think that. The unknown was scary. Personally, I found the principle made my life really easy. I had more than enough fear from those which were directly threatening my life. I really didn't want to have the fear of losing someone as well. Change the line of thought, Haruraki. Solving the mystery might save someone. Two birds with one stone. I began walking faster. I don't think you should try to solve mysteries while the crime's happening. I think that's the time to, like, protect yourself, protect others, sure, but it's not time to solve mysteries. Ow. I realized I had to find a way to protect myself. I was unarmed, so I looked around for something I could use as a weapon. I felt around to see if there were any branches or anything. Sadly, all I felt was grass. I went deeper and searched the ground itself. Soon I found something hard. It was a rock. A moment of digging later, I took it in my hand. It was a bit smaller than my hand. I almost teared up at how useless it seemed, but it was better than nothing. I looked at the base of my feet and saw the grassy ground. I could easily move forward if I first checked the ground using my feet. And since I might have been close to the danger, I had to focus on what was ahead too. I'd recognize the danger and, if all possible, get rid of it. I concentrated entirely on that and stepped forward. I couldn't hear the screams anymore. Are you dead already? But I could hear other things. A wet sound. The sound of something cracking. I filled my mind with countless things that I didn't want to imagine. Even so, I kept walking forward. Forward. Until I saw it. Oh. My hypotheses were nothing but delusions. The truth was truly something you had to see for yourself. But why? What was so scary in spite of being true? It wasn't supposed to exist. It couldn't exist. After all, it was a wolf with a humanoid body. And there's no such thing as werewolves. The next morning, in a paddy field in Fujiyoshi, Yasumizo, 3rd block, someone discovered a thoroughly mangled corpse. The clothes nearby led the discoverers to conclude that it was the traveler, the genius, the follower of instructions, Haruraki, Fusayashi. He's still moving. Strangely enough, I could perceive this particular moment. And so I was finished off by the girl. Wow. Wow. The last thing I heard. What was that? So you got infected by the wolf and then had to be killed? Good job. Genius. Genius. Unveiled arrival. Yep, I figured that'd be key 1. Obtained key number 2, Werewolf and Resurrection. You can view it in the keys list. This route unlocked by this key is represented by the same number on the scenario chart. Game over. The dumbass ending. No. Well, I kind of want to do it for fun. But it's not like I really need a hint. I mean, yeah. It's the first one, too. Maybe... I can see if it's worth watching for future, and also it'll probably teach me how to do the interface. Yeah, that's what Tutorial says too. You're probably the freaking killer in the game. I know! I noticed! Yeah. Exactly. Aww, that quiz wasn't idiotic. So is he gonna have full memories? That'd be kinda cool. I like seeing everything. I don't know. And yet I knew that ahead of time through common sense. But I can't change that, right? I think there's a lot more locks.
随分つうわけで今回はここまでそういう夢だった次はもっとうまくやれ羊がいっ
Dream
羊が
Wanderer. Just a dream wanderer? Okay, let's see what we can do. $20. Whoa. Interesting. It was just a 2. Oh, wait. Why is that? Oh, that's telling you where you got it. Okay. Alright, I wasn't thinking follow the scream. I was thinking follow the singing. That's what I was thinking. So why are these lines? Is that just the style? Okay. So that line isn't a path. The paths are like this. Okay. So this is the one where you don't follow the scream, I think. Or the singing, I mean. Okay. Death. It sounded like someone's life was in danger. It meant something dangerous was nearby. Wait, I can't be rash. The world didn't have many things that logic couldn't explain, like the existence of murders. But, until I saw the source of my scream itself, it was nothing but a source of fear. I reached over the door, but something stayed my hand. It was my promise to Chiemi. So he doesn't seem to remember. I mean, maybe like on a subconscious level he does, but the way the sheet made it sound is I thought maybe it would be really overt, like he remembers everything fully. But nope. But that scream just now was very real. It wasn't normal. I had to assume the situation was dangerous and maybe I could help if I went. But that meant endangering myself. I was no saint and I had no plans to rectify that. If there's something I could get that could get me to walk out, it'd be curiosity. My curiosity had won over many dangers thus far. But right now it was weaker than my fear and risk of death. Why? Because I already knew. So he does remember now. Shit, what the hell were these memories? It wasn't a premonition, a dream, or anything else that vague. My brain recognized it as something I had experienced. But how? After all, I was still alive, and a time from those memories had yet to come. Was I a precog or something? By God, I swore I'd never experienced anything like this before coming here. And why did the memory come back to me at this particular moment? Regardless, that overwhelming fear and the pain and death that followed were exactly what waited for me if I opened the door. I couldn't feel more certain than that. The thoughts rendered me unable to move. Immobile. I stood still, completely certain that I lost my chance to leave. It wasn't childish enough to sneer at selfish decisions. But this still didn't feel good. Not to mention, I was upset at myself for not being able to act like me and just run out simply because I'm a dumbass. I didn't feel saved. Until that moment. Suddenly, the door began to shake. This place had a handle on the outside, and somebody was pulling on it hard. There was a lock, sure, but there was only so much it could take before it broke. I prepared to pull on it from the inside, but shut up, be quiet, stay still, do what you're told. Yes! What would happen if I did? Whatever was outside would instantly know I was here. Even if I protected the door, the thing had a lot of other ways of hurting me. But what if it didn't know about me and was just weirded out by this randomly locked toilet? What if I didn't show a hint of fear to what it was doing? Would it just leave? I chose to wait and see. Once again, someone pulled on the door, shaking the structure as a whole. I gulped down a scream and focused on the lock. If it broke, it would be over for me. You could try hiding. Like giving yourself a second chance, but you gotta be freaking quiet. Over. As in I'd be dead. That was what that memory told me. I was powerless back then, and even more so now. Assuming I tried to fight back, what would work? I'd heard the teeth are the hardest part of the human body, so maybe I could bite? Oh, man, I'm sure that would work, dude. Yeah, I tear that giant wolf apart with my teeth. I bite it to death. I gather my wits and killing a tent, grinding my teeth. I glared at the door. How long had it been? The sound suddenly stopped. For all I knew, it might have been a ploy to make me drop my guard. I slowly count to 500. Dude, even if nothing happens at 500, you still freaking stay there and be quiet. You just shut up. Wait till morning. If nothing happened at that time, I'd assume it went away. There were no screams or attacks after that. But the silence around me improved my perception, and I heard strange noises every now and then. Breathing, growling, claws on the ground. Basically, I felt a beastly presence. We know. So that thing actually existed here? Was it what the mist brought here from Saranaga? The wolf is coming. Did they all know about this? Shit. I couldn't learn anything in a place like this. Not knowing things scared me. Trusting my prescience or deja vu or whatever it was, I chose to stay quiet and wait. I'd figure out everything tomorrow. I just had to make it through the night and then talk to Chiemi. And if it was something I couldn't solve, I'd just run away. Thankfully, my bike repairs were going well, but I'd be leaving even if it didn't work. I talked to Kamifuji Yoshi if I had to. Unlike Yazumizo, they might have had a reliable means of transport. For now, I just had to stay awake and make it through the night. I just realized it's probably the food critic that's dead. There's a woman scream. She's a minor character. She should be probably. That'd be my guess. Either that or the other guy with her or both of them. For now, I just had to stay awake through the night. Autosave. And I never like seeing the night gradually turn brighter as the morning arises. It always made me feel like shit. Like I'd done something harmful, both for my body and as a human being in general. What, you mean when you're awake? Yeah. Yeah, it's not really a good feeling lots of times when you're still awake from the night before and the sun's coming up. I found it natural to spend the night asleep and welcome morning well rested and with a smile. I never expected it to feel so much gratitude for the morning light leaking through the door of an outhouse. It felt like the beast had been out and about the whole night. Naturally, the high humidity here had made my clothes all wet and sticky. It was unpleasant, but even trying to move them and make it more comfortable for myself felt like a matter of life and death. Maybe it was a good thing I couldn't relax, but hell, it was exhausting in more ways than one. When I heard Chiemi shout, "Haruka-san," in the distance, I was overcome with relief and almost fell to my knees. If this turned out to be a trick and I opened the door to see some wolf with a chewed collar in its mouth lunging for my throat, what? You go from, like, having no fear of danger at all to, like, thinking she's going to be trying to help kill you? I don't get it. I just gave up and let it have me at this point. With that in mind, I opened the door. I expected to see the same picturesque village I'd seen yesterday, so what I actually saw shocked me pretty hard. Dead bodies? What the hell was up this thick mist? I couldn't see shit. It was like the entire area was consumed by it. Did someone line every inch of this place with dry ice or something? I could hear Chiemi, but not see her. I heard a wet sound and finally saw a silhouette within the mist. I think we're gonna find a dead body. I walked up and saw exactly what I expected, a girl struggling to free one of her legs, stuck deep in a paddy field. I tugged her hand and braced my legs. That was enough to help her, but she lost her balance and... Despite how close we were now, this was the least bit romantic. I definitely remember a time where I was far from her, right though? Do you remember her killing you? I had no idea what that was about, so I didn't see any reason to mention it. Chiami's expression immediately darkened. She clearly knew what I was referring to. Okay, it's time to tell me things. She fell silent, clearly uncomfortable. It was pretty ominous. She led me down the path to the school dorm. Actually, that voice... It could be Haruchan. Did she? Is there usually some kind of magical thing that makes you sleep? Huh. Okay, so again, I'm just gonna start. I'm just gonna keep referencing the game as Werewolf. I know it's also called Mafia and stuff, but I think everybody gets it by now. What game it is, if you haven't played it. So there are also often different roles. Like there's two wolves, there's villagers, and then there's like, let's say, a seer that can check and see if people check to see one person at night, like if it's a wolf or a human, a villager. Maybe we're a special role that allows us to be up at night. And we just kind of gave that away, which we shouldn't be doing. I really hate it when people trail off like that. It makes me way too curious. Look out. Scene? So someone actually... So yeah, I'm guessing it's going to be like a... Like there's going to be a murder mystery every time. Someone actually... Yeah, we should see. We're... if we're not the detective, we're a detective. We have to figure this out. I mean, in the case of the story and storytelling, we are the detective, so... The invisible unknown were way scarier than anything else. Not to mention, I could already smell something foul. Yeah, we need to see to solve. I lightly moved them aside and walked up to the so-called scene. That doesn't look good. There was a corpse. It was in such a horrible state that it was hard to recognize it as human. I imagine this is what you would have gotten if you overturned a butcher's cart. Ugh. That was how thoroughly the victim was disassembled. Also, the butcher would have had to deal with entrails. Enough of that comparison. Straining my eyes to look through the mist, I could actually make out some human parts within the vast sea of blood, or mountain of death. Hands, torn clothes, hair, and a shoulder bag. Haru had a shoulder bag. Oh, it's the interviewer. Yeah, how professional. She kept a hold of her interviewing tools even while running for her life. Didn't do her odds of survival any favors though. Despite the body's state, it wasn't hard to tell that the victim was Hisako Mamiya, the small-time food journalist. That thing. Did it come to me once it was done murdering her?
これは
Shamu was standing a short distance away, looking at nothing in particular.
吐くものもないしまあ一応
What?
医学系
すごい検視とかできる
医学系ってのは医学部以外の類似学部生が見え張って使う表現さ
Or it wouldn't be pre-med, you're
料
post-grad.
理解剖なら何度か見たけど
I crouched and I put my hands together. Then grimacing at the harrowing reek of blood, innards, and especially digested food, I brought my face closer. Perhaps I could learn something from this. I could, even if it wasn't much. This corpse wasn't split into pieces. The limbs were still connected, but they were folded in an unnatural way, and really looked flattened. So, apparently the wolf didn't eat them? They were either crushed or bent with no regard to bones or muscle position. And her whole body had been torn apart. The innards were particularly damaged. The words wolfed down felt like the best way to put it. Okay. Well then. We have a body. I'm going to end this one here. Until next time.